MRP area today. Okay, so the MRP area is basically an organization unit for which material requirements planning can be carried out independently outside the total plant level. Hmm? So when you run the MRP using MD01, it runs on the basically on the entire plant level, and when you do that in MD02, it runs on basically at the plant level by default. Yeah, I mean, yeah, material level. But when you run that in MD02, it will be running on the material level, but the stock will be getting calculated from the entire plant level. Okay, so this thing is known as centralized planning. Okay, but as per the business need, we may have the MRP area split to individual or independent areas, or which is known as the decentralized planning. So planning at the plant level is known as centralized planning, and planning at individual and independent level is known as decentralized planning. And this can be achieved by activating MRP area. So if I give an example, there might be 10 storage location in any of the plant, and you don't want to run the material requirement planning in all the plants. So say for an example, you want to run the MRP only at 5 storage locations. I'm sorry, said it is plant. It's not plant, it's storage location. So for an example, there are 10 storage location in a plant. And when you run the MRP at MD02 or MD01 at the plant level, by default, it considers all the storage location. Your stocks might be available in storage location 1, storage location 2, storage location 3. All the stocks will be, clubbed together, and it will be taken into the consideration of MRP, but it can be splitted. Okay, so for an example, I don't want uh, my stocks to be calculated from a particular area, or I want only particular 5 or 6 storage location to be planned. Okay, this kind of requirement can be mapped and can be fulfilled using MRP area functionality. Okay, so these MRP areas are fully configurable organizational unit within ECC, where MRP can be run individually on different MRP areas within the plant. Okay, plant will be same, but there will be 2 or 3 MRP areas. Based on that, you can run it. Now, this is broadly classified into 2 major ways. So basically, when you run the MRP, something called as plant level and MRP area level. Even though you are running it MD02, your input is a plant, and when you input that plant, so system is going to consider the existing stock inside that plant. It might be available in n number of storage locations. But when you plan that using MRP area, the system will create a different planning zone, and it will split the total plant level MRP area to storage location level MRP area, and that can be clubbed with 5 or 6 storage location. Okay, that's for the business requirement. Let's see if this is here. Got disconnected. It looks like this is disconnected. So if I go to MD02, you can see here my input is material and is plant here. Okay, when I try to run the MRP on this material and the plant, run it now. So it is taking presently the procurement proposals are not changed or generated because there is no change in the demands or change in the stocks. Okay, so that's how this is not. Let me first of all put some stock and then we'll save. Okay, or let me see the demands here. All right, and I'll create some trace demand now. We add some place demand here and then we can save it. Okay, so if I refresh it, I will see the new place demand here. Which one? This is in the month of 9, so this is the one. Is that new? in place. Alright. Now if I run the MRP, system is going to uh, generate the procurement proposal for that independent requirement, and it will be on the plant level. Okay, you can see that here basically your plant is 1,000 also, and your MRP area is also 1,000. That means your plant is considered as your MRP area. That means it is not split into different storage locations. Moving further, so the
Yeah,
system.
this means that this means that in 1,000 plant, each and every MRP areas will be planned simultaneously ना, जितना भी जो storage है एक
No,
साथ वो plan हो जाएगा.
it's not like that. It doesn't go in that way. Basically, when you plan at MRP area level, although we have not jumped into that configuration level, so let me tell you, when you run the MRP at MRP area level, so it will run on the specific MRP area. Suppose there is MRP area called section A. When you run the MRP on section A, it will only plan for section A, not for the entire plant level. Okay, so you might be having three different storage locations in your plant, very big storage location in your plant, and while running the MRP, you don't, I mean, you want to run the MRP at different storage location individually. Three locations are there, and then you want to plan them differently. You don't want to run at plant level. Hmm? So your planning
Yes.
proposals at storage location A should not affect storage location B. The same way, the stock situation at storage location C should not affect the planning of storage location B. Those things can be achieved by using MRP areas. By default,
Okay.
your MRP is set up at the plant level. When you run the SAP for the first time, or when the SAP comes as a pre-configured system, it comes as the MRP is activated at the plant level. Okay. So
Okay. भैया.
when you run the MRP at the plant level, system basically adds together stock, from every individual storage location to determine the total plant stock, and the requirements are also combined. And simultaneously, when you run the MRP, the procurement elements are created. So this is how the plant level MRP works, and we have already seen that during our past sessions. Now
Yes
coming
भैया.
back to our MRP area level. Okay, this is how this figure you can see here. Your requirement is coming from one assembly line, another requirement is coming from one another assembly line. There is some other extra requirement also. It might come from any work center, or it might come from some different customer, or it might come from forecast, or it might come from your individual requirements also. So this, and at the same time there are some subcontractors also available. Subcontractor will also give the requirement. Now, when you run the plant MRP, the plant level, all these elements will be clubbed together. Okay, everything will be clubbed, and when you run the MRP as an output, you will get planned order, purchase requisition, or schedule lines. Okay, these things basically will be planned out at the plant level by combining all the stock situation in each and every location and all the requirements from different corners. But when you run the MRP at MRP area level, the situation is little different here. Okay, the stocks will be considered from particular storage location or from any subcontractor level,
Okay
and the
भैया.
requirements also will be not combined. Okay, requirement will be taken separately. So if you look into this figure below, so we have, you can see storage location for raw material. I have RM01, RM02, RM03. So these are the storage location. While I plan for the raw materials, I don't want to look into the different storage location or different MRP areas. I just want to run it for the raw materials. Okay, I can create MRP area for these three locations. So whenever I'll run my MRP for any materials, for an example, material A in this MRP area M004, it will only be restricted to M004, not outside the MRP area. Okay, system is not going to check the stocks in SM01 or SM02 or SM03, something like that. Okay,
ये भैया.
basically this MRP area are divided into three types. As I said, one is at plant level, and another one is called at storage location level. The third one is at subcontractor level. Now, the plant level is coming is pre-configured in the system. It comes pre-configured in the system, and you don't need to do anything. By default, it is the plant level. So when you do it at the plant level, as I said, it will club all the requirements from different areas, and it will also club the stocks from different level, and it will plan centrally. But when you plan it at the storage location level, the example I gave, so it will plan each and everything separately. Okay. If a material is available in storage location 1, 2, and 3, but it's not available in some other location like 4, 5, 6, so, and you want to do the MRP on only 1, 2, 3, you can do that. You don't have to include it in 4, 5, 6, even though the stocks are there or not, doesn't matter. Okay. In the same way, MRP area also can be created for subcontractors. For that, basically, you have to create vendors. So we will discuss that in our upcoming sessions. At this moment, we'll go ahead and we'll see what is the configuration required, how to activate that, and how can you, set up MRP area. Basically, it is two different parts. One is you have to activate the MRP area, and then you have to activate the master data. It's very simple. Okay, so to activate it in the customizing, you need to use this T code OMIZ, or else at the same time. Let's see first of all if this is disconnected.
Yeah, IMG screen.
Its ideal time is causing this. Let me forward. Yeah. You can directly go ahead with the T code which is mentioned in the document, OMIZ, or else you can use the path also here. Using that path also, it will take you to the same screen. Okay. By going here, you can activate the MRP. First of all, you have to activate the MRP, and then you will have to define the MRP area. Let me go ahead first of all. This is the T code OMIZ. Let me take you through SPR. MRP areas, and there you go. Activate MRP area. Get into this one, and then make sure you activate it. Okay. For this IDS client, it is already activated, but when you use a real-time client in a real-time environment, this will not become SP activated. You will have to activate it. Okay. In this case, it is already activated because this server is being shared by other consultants also, and they are also doing the RLU activity. The next step is you do define the MRP areas. Okay, so we're going to get into the site this MRP area, and for us, my plant is 1000. All right, this is my plant 1000, and for 1000, you can see here when you come to the screen, the first one is called MRP area, second one is area type, third one the description, and fourth one the plant the name. So in my case, my MRP area is 1000. Area type. What is the area type? 01. Is for the plant level. Means by default, MRP area is the plant level. Okay. And that's and that's the reason when you go to MD04, when you put the input material, even though you don't put the MRP area, system by default propose the plant name. This is because of the setting available in MRP area, because it is by default set as a 01 for the plant level. All right.
Okay.
And 01 you don't have to configure, it is by default available, and the plant name is 1000. This is a so when you import the plant name is 1000, system automatically determines the MRP area is 1000 itself. Why? Because it's set up as 01. Now if I want to make something different, okay, let me first of all this is 03. Let me see what storage location. Okay, this is a subcontractor level, doesn't matter. So let me go ahead and create a MRP area storage location level, and then we'll see how it works. Go to the new entry here, and MRP area, suppose my plant is 1000, and I want to put it as 01, okay, or 1000 M1, something like that. I can put MRP area. It's input here some description. Let me put it as location A, MRP area type. Okay, even though you selected as here 1, it will not be working out because 1 is already present in the system. You don't have to do that. You can go ahead. You can select it as storage location level or vendor level. Vendor means your subcontractor level. Okay, so I'll go ahead with this storage location level at this moment. And for me, my plant is set at 1000. Okay, and receiving storage location. So in which location I'll be usually receiving my materials. So for example, this is 101. Okay, let me take it as 0001. Alright, this is my receiving storage location. By default, receiving storage location. That means where the material will be received. Now,
Okay,
what you have to do is here you can see 3 entries here. Okay, so if you are doing MRP area at 01 level, then you should go to the first node. If it is 02 level, go to the second node. If it is 03, go to the third node. Okay, if you try to go to, even though you maintain it here, if you try to go to any other node, system will not allow you to do that. Okay, it will take you out from the transaction.
Okay.
Okay, since I have put it 02 here, I can go to assign storage location, and in this storage location, let me add. So for this MRP area, what are the storage location I want to plan? I can go ahead and select something from here. For example, 0001 is my storage location. You can see here I have a lot of other storage locations also. Okay, and in some time in real-time scenario, I may not be able to, or I may not be able to run the MRP plant level because my plant is very big. I want to run that in individual area level. All right, this is one thing.
Yes.
Let me save it, send this to here. This is PP MRP areas, and let me create one more MRP area now. Okay, one I created at 0001. I will create one more MRP area. Go to the new entries here. Put it as MRP area 2, location B, something like that. Put it at 202. Plant is 1000, and my receiving storage location, I'll have to use something different. Okay, this is my storage location, and now in the assigned storage location I want to add 0002, and if you want you can add more storage locations also. So let me add 0003 and 0004 also. All right, 0004 is also. So I have one MRP area where only one storage location will be planned separately. I have another MRP area where 3 locations will be planned separately. And if I run my MRP at plant level, all the location will be planned. Okay. Now let me save it again. And if you see for this uh, 4000, there is already one more MRP area available. You can see that is at subcontractor level. Okay. So somebody has created already that. You know, if you go to the details here, you can see that this is the MRP area name. MRP area type is equal to 03, plant in 1000, and if you go to the subcontractor here, you can see the subcontractor is 1000 itself. Okay, so somebody has created already a vendor with 1000. Usually, you cannot create a vendor. I mean, it's not not falling in the PP's mode. Your material management team or procurement team has to take care about that. They will create the vendors, and usually, I mean, you can create a vendor. Usually, we create a vendor with a different name, not at the platform. But since this is a practice server, people might have explored a lot of things here. I don't want to comment on that.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
they have created it on the same way, but usually we do it in a different way. So after activating the MRP area, the next thing we do is basically we will have to convert your existing file to the MRP area level. This activity is no longer is required, but if it is required, you can use this activity. I mean, you can go to production material requirement planning, and then you can change the planning file entry and convert them to the MRP area level, or you can go to SAP directly. And there is a program available in standard SAP RMDV VM00, where you will be able to convert your planning files from the plant level to the MRP area level. Okay, or else you can skip this activity. It's not mandatory one. Okay, and in S4HANA, this activity is not required.
Okay, भैया.
Okay. The next step we do is, and one more thing, this activity is required. I mean, this is only required in ACC when you want to convert your existing data to MRP area level or planning files from one plant level to the MRP area level. But if you do not want to disturb your existing planning data, and furthermore, any new planning data will be coming, you want to MRP area, I mean, you want the MRP area to be activated for them, then also you don't need to carry out this activity. By default, when the next time you plan with your MRP area, the new parameters or the new planning files, document proposals, everything will be coming automatically at the planning area level or MRP area level.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing we do is basically we maintain this MRP area in the material master. Okay, this is the master data part. Once the configuration is done, we will go to the material master. Are you clear on the configuration part so far?
Yes, Bhaiya. Yes, yes,
Alright,
yes.
great. Let us go to our material plant and let us activate that. Alright, and here you see something called as MRP. Okay, since no MRP, this material is created at the plant level, you can see that this MRP area doesn't exist here. As soon as you add some, this option will be ticked up here. I can go to the MRP area and I can add it here. So go to the drop down
Acha,
menu.
acha. I remember, Bhaiya. You were telling that in advanced classes we will be discussing about MRP areas.
Correct. Alright. You can see here. These are the MRP areas so far I created. Okay, these are the other MRP area other people might have created. So I created M1, M2. These two locations I created. Okay, and I want to maintain it in M1. Okay, one MRP area. As soon as you maintain it in one MRP area, system will be asking some parameters for you. So for this MRP area, you will have to enter the MRP type. So for example, I want to do it PD, MRP controller, I want to take it as among, for EX, alright. Focus did not refer for me. This is not refer for me. This go to this MRP2. If you want to maintain some safety stuff or something for this MRP area, you can maintain it up or you can skip it if you don't have that value. Okay. All right. Now let me go ahead and
इसमें मालिक किसी से कुछ हेल्प चाहिए होगा तो एमएम कंसल्टेंट से हेल्प ले सकते हैं ना कुछ एरिया फिल करने के लिए.
yeah, yes, I can do that. Okay. Hey, 1 second. This my pop-up is coming. Click on this adapt here. Once it's adapted, okay, you can see the same thing here also. One MRP area is set up, and again, if you click on this adapt, you can see now this MRP area is exist. Means this material, for this material, the data PD A1 EX is available at the plant level. But if you want to go ahead with the MRP area level, you can go to the display here. Oh, sorry, something different. Double click on that. So you can have some separate sort of parameter when you want to run it in MRP area level also. Okay, so in this case, it is PDEXA1. I can go ahead and add one more MRP area. So at storage location B level, and then click on this check. As you click on the check, it will appear here again. So, no, it is not one. I want to go it M2 level, correct? I selected that, and then click on this check here. So I'll maintain MRP type is equal to PD in this case, but my MRP controller for different MRP area level, I want to go ahead with a different MRP controller. And lot size, I want to make it as a 16. Alright? And its lot size, let me make it as 100. It means you have different planning criteria for each MRP area level. Okay? It means when you want to run the MRP at plant level, your parameters will be, hold on for a second. Okay, sorry about that.
No problem.
Alright, so when you want to run the MRP at plant level, 1000 level, you can have the MRP parameters PD, A1, EX, something like that. But it doesn't necessarily require that these parameters should be applicable for all the other MRP area also. Okay, it means for each and different MRP area level, you can have a different set of responsible person or MRP controller, and you can plan that
Mm.
separately. In some MRP area, you can plan with reorder point planning. In some of MRP area, you can plan with the MRP. In some MRP area, you can have a different load size EX, and in some other MRP area, you can have a different load size for FX.
Yes, yeah.
All right,
Mm.
getting my point?
Yes, yes, yes.
Excellent. Let me go ahead and then save it first of all. So you can see now my changes are saved. So I'll go to this MD02 now. Alright, not MD02, I will go to MD04 and then I'll check it first of all at the MRP level. Now as soon as I went to the MRP area level, so for 1000 MRP area, you can see your current stock is, it says 0. If I go ahead with some different MRP area level, this is your current stock now. Because your receiving
Yes.
location is maintenance 001 during your MRP area creation. If you go to the different MRP area here, your storage location is stock is currently 0. So let me first of all go ahead and create some put some stock. Okay? Right. When we'll come again and see. We go quantity. I want to put it as 100 quantity. Where I want to and storage location. I want to put it in. Okay. I'm putting it in 0002 first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And I will add one few stock first of all in some different location which is not assigned to the storage location. So let me take it as some this one 0005, right, or
Mm-hmm.
006. I think 006 is good for me. So you will see a change now. If I go to the stock requirement list now, and I want to check that at 1000 level. This is I want to check that same material 1622. Population source M1 level. So you can see M1 level 322 is there. Whatever I added that time, the same thing is there. 322 is there. Now let me add one more stock to the same storage location, and I'll put it as 0001. Check. 100 quantity I added to 0001 storage location. Okay. Now you see here, when I select M1, what will be the impact? You can see 422 is the stock. Why it's saying 422? Because I added 100 quantity to the 0001 storage location, and 0001 is assigned to this MRP area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is one thing. Now, if I go and check in MRP area 2, you'll see a different stock situation. You can see now 100 quantities there in MRP area 2. Why 100 quantities there? Because I added some stock just before some time to MRP area 2. So storage location 2, and this storage location 2 is assigned to MRP area 2. If I add some more stock to somewhere down, let me add some 50 quantity, and I want to add that to 0003. Okay, I added that for 0003. Check and post it. 0003. Now if you go and check the stock situation here, You see here it says 150. Before some time it was 100 and now it says 150. The reason is in MRP area 2, I have added 3 storage locations. This is my MRP area.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Alright, let's see. 2, 3,
Yes,
4.
yeah.
These 3 locations are there. Anything I will add it here, it will reflect here in this one. Any proposal, not just stock, even though other MRP proposals also. Alright, but this will not affect the plant stock now. The entire plant stock, this will not be impacting. So I will go ahead and check the MRP area level. Okay. Now you see it says 100 quantity. The reason is I added some stock to 0006. It is 100 quantity. Okay. If I check for MRP area 1 now, it is 422 in MRP area 1. Just remember this numbers. For MRP area 2, it's 150. And if it is only the plant level, it says now 100. Okay. What I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna add some stock to 0006. 0006 is not yet assigned to any of the MRP areas. Okay, 50, let's not 50, let's start 25 quantity. I'm going to add it for 0006 level. And I'm okay.
Means for the same material, each and every stock levels are different at different storage level.
Now, let me refresh it. At 1000 level only, let me refresh it. You see, it's now 125. Okay, but if I go and check at other MRP area level, it is unimpacted. It was 150 and MRP area 1 was 422. Only
because that was not assigned to any of these.
Exactly. So any storage location which is not a part of the concerned MRP area, it will not be impacted. Okay.
It will work independently.
Yeah, it will work independently. And any storage location which is not assigned to any one of the MRP areas, it will by default stay at the plant level. Okay, so that's the reason you can see the stock here. And if I go back and create some demand, I can go to ND61 and then here you can see the MRP areas. Let me select MRP area 1. Okay, and in MRP area 1, let me put 1000 quantity. 1000 is my requirement now. In MRP area 2, I have in the entry mode I have 2000 quantity requirement, and in MRP area plant level I want to create more requirement. Okay, so at the plant level, let me add it 500 quantity in the octagon. Okay, all right. Now I will go and run the MRP. Go into 02. So I want to run it the first of all the MRP area 1 level or storage location 1 level. Okay, let me go ahead and then at the same time before running it the MRP, let me show you the demand situation. 04 MRP area 1000. You can see now presently I have 422 stock and 1000 new requirements. Okay, so 578 quantities shortfall. There is shortfall of 578 quantity. But if I go and check MRP area 2, I have 150 stock and 2000 requirement. If I check it at the plant level, so 125 stock and I have a new requirement of 500 quantity. I mean, if you accumulate all these requirements, it will be some 665 quantity. 665. I will go ahead first of all run the MRP at MRP area 1 level. Okay. Alright, so planned order is created here, purchase equation is also created, dependent requirements are also created. Now, let us see if it has impacted the other storage location. It's not impacted at all. You can see here if I click the refresh also, whatever the stock situation was of 1000, it remains the same. It remains the same. If I go to the storage location 2, it also remains the same. You can see current stock is 150, independent requirement is 200. Alright, but if you go and check at MRP area 1 level, you will see a change in the requirement.
There is a change.
Hold on for a second.
Put 578 तो भैया पहले भी था ना?
Yeah. Give me a moment.
Impact नहीं हुआ इसमें फिर?
No. It's impacted. You can see new plan order is created now.
Okay. Okay, okay, okay.
Getting my
Yes,
point?
yes. Now it is impacted. Yes, yes.
Okay, new plan order is created with 566 plan order.
Land order. ठीक भैया. हाँ.
Okay,
Okay भैया.
this
Okay.
is not impacted with other one. You can see the I mean, as per the stock situation, you can analyze and understand how this 566 was created. Okay, now if I run it at M2 level, first of all, I'm running it for M2 level. Again, in M2 level also, land order purchase equations are all created. Now, first of all, let me run and see for M1 only if it is impacted. See, M1 is not at all impacted. But if I go and check at M2 level, you can see now there is an independent requirement, and if I refresh it, you can see these are my mini plan order. 800. You might get an idea now. Okay? Or you might get a question at this moment. Why so many plan orders? Why so many plan orders? Why not one plan? Getting my point?
Because
Getting my point?
yes भैया.
Okay. So present currently your available quantity was 150 and there was a shortage of 1850 quantity. Now if you check all the planned orders here, 100, at the end, you will not find any planned order with 50 quantity. You will not find anyone because the reason is you go and check the material master for this MRP area 2. You will see that we have mentioned fixed lot sizes for this MRP area. I'm getting my point now. How each and every MRP area can function discretely without impacting the other planning areas.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes भैया.
Now, if
Yes.
I run my MRP at the plant level, because I created the demand at the plant level also, plant level also my plant orders are created. I can go and check the stock situation in this all planning areas into it's not impacted. M1 M1 is also not impacted with MRP at plant level, but if I go and check my procurement proposal and stock situation at MRP area 1000 level, you will see I see different plant orders, and it is not impacted with the other MRP areas.
Yes भैया.
Alright, so these all the things which I write today, it's mentioned in the document. You refer this document.
Sure भैया.
Any questions?